going on, guys? Welcome to episode number 21 of the Proven Knowledge Podcast, the Creator Series. Today I welcomed a Texas native. He's produced for Wale, he's produced for Dave East, OG Maco, Chaz French, a lot of other people. His name is Super Miles. I discovered his work probably a couple years ago through listening to Wale. He produced on one of his EPs in 2018. And then he's since been on the last two Wale projects on a few songs. So I've kind of been just following him closely and everything. And I reached out to him in June about getting on the show. So we finally made that happen this week. And this episode is unlike any episode we've had so far. And the reason I say that is because I usually have, questions to ask. And it's kind of like scripted. So things stay on topic. But honestly, Miles really it's hard to describe. You'll have to hear it in the episode, but he was covering my questions without me even asking the questions. And not only that, he went into pretty much his whole, the detail of his journey. He talks about how he got started really around 10 years ago in 2010. Him and Chaz French and a few other people, started working together and kind of getting the hang of making music and everything. And then he ended up going to Atlanta and kind of being in Atlanta during the whole, trap sound blow up where you had Metro Boomin, Sonny Digital, you had the Migos, Future, all these other people. And he talked about meeting Sci-Hi the Prince and a lot of other Atlanta artists, rappers, A&Rs, all kinds of people that kind of helped shape his sound and shape kind of what he was doing. And man, I really just appreciate Miles's appreciation for himself, for his music, for his story, and he's very confident in what he does. And he talks about how he has been able to really manifest everything he's wanted to do for himself up to this point. And I think he just gives a lot of great gems throughout the entire episode. I didn't really say a whole lot. I just let him go because he just was giving a ton of awesome stories, and I was just sitting back absorbing it. So I hope you as the listeners can get a lot of cool bits from the story. And he has covered a lot more ground than I even thought he did, just being kind of an outside guy who didn't really know a lot about him. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. All right, welcome everyone to episode number 21 of the Proven Knowledge Podcast, the Creator Series. Today we have a North Texas native. He's worked with many big artists, Dave East, OG Maco, Wale, many others that I'm sure we're going to get to here in this episode. Super Miles, how are you, man?
Man, I'm good, man. How you doing, bro?
Awesome. And like I said before, thank you for getting back with me about being on the show. It means a lot to have you here. So to start every episode off, we kind of just have the guest, give a little bit of background. How long have you been doing music? What kind of made you say, I want to be a producer?
All right, so for me, it was actually pretty crazy. So, I started in 2010. So this was my senior year of high school. So me and the producer I worked the most with, my homie Chaz French, we had just been friends during high school. You know what I'm saying? I knew he did music, but we was just friends. You know what I'm saying? We would talk about clothes and shit like that. But yeah, we was just friends, and I knew the people he hung around with, and I was just yo, man, these motherfuckers is cold as hell. Yo, they really do this music shit. So I had always been interested in Fruity Loops. I had the program, but I never actually took it seriously. I never just sat down and tried to figure out what each thing meant. You know what I'm saying? What each button actually did. I was always just into computers and video games and shit. So of course, I feel most producers always just playing video games, just fucking around with shit. So met Chaz, and we really got close. And I started to tell him yo, I think I'm gonna make beats. He's yeah, bro, you could do it. You know what I'm saying? Just rock with me. You know what I'm saying? So Chaz French, that's my brother to the day I die. You know what I'm saying? First artist I ever produced for. And we're going to get to him later along down the lines, but he actually ended up getting signed to a major label, and that a bunch of shit happened after that. But yeah, I started producing for Chaz, and I was just so into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching tutorials like every day. I'm watching beat making videos. I'm watching everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I was dialed in. So we graduated, and I'm like, man, I don't really know like what I want to do. Don't really want to go to school. You know what I'm saying? Like my grades was good. I was always like a good student, but didn't really know what I wanted to really focus on as far as college went. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna just try and do this fucking beat shit real heavy. So I was already at an aggressive pace as far as like learning the programs and like the ins and outs and learning my chords and shit, like learning everything I could to about making beats. But that kind of kicked it into overdrive. Like didn't really have like we got no more school, so I just got time. You know what I'm saying? Like my parents actually, like God bless them because they weren't like as like strict as me, like finding a job and like you know what I'm saying. They would like remind me like, yo, you should probably like get your stuff ready for college. You know, you can go to community college and stuff. But they were never like overbearing about it. They kind of just like let me figure things out. So with that freedom, like I took it into overdrive. Like I stepped up. You know what I'm saying? Like I sounded like I was a more mature producer, and I had only been into it probably like 6 to 8 months at that time. You know what I'm saying? So me and Chaz just kept working. You know what I'm saying? And I started working with another producer who works with Chaz, my homie Chris Minor. We went to the same school, never talked in high school, didn't even like each other in high school. You know what I'm saying? But he's one of my best friends to this day. But yeah, I started working with him. And he really put me on because he already knew how to use Fruity Loops. Like he knew everything. But he's hard. Like he's still hard. Like me and him still work to this day. But he really put me on. Like he gave me the swag. You know what I'm saying? Like he showed me how to do all these other things. You know what I'm saying? So I took that, ran with it. Like I was like I said, I was locked in for like that next year to like I was just like you couldn't even get me to leave my room for real. Like Chaz and Chris, you know what I'm saying? They be inviting me to parties and shit like, yo, like come out. Like I wasn't doing it. Like I was locked in. Like I was ready to be a student. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we had a couple records drop, and of course, like we were like the known kids in like high school. So like everybody wanted like to hear the records and stuff. So but not many people knew like I made music and stuff. They knew me for like skateboarding and like clothes and stuff. So we dropped records and people love these joints. Like they was like on everybody's MySpace pages, all this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone, like they loved our records. And we started doing like showcases and stuff. Like in Dallas there was there was a club, I think it was called the Curtain Club. It's in Deep Ellum, Dallas, Texas. And they had like a bunch of showcases, and they would have like people from different record labels come through and like hear the talent or whatever. And one of the showcases, somebody from Atlantic Records had came through. Like, and this was like a big night because like everybody that we knew was there. And this was probably the biggest showcase we did. I want to say another label was there, but I remember Atlantic, sure. So I can't even remember the dude's name. Chris would know the name because he did some funny shit. But that night, the records that Chaz had performed, he was like, yo, these beats, like, yo, he was so interested in the beats. He was like, the songs were cool, but he's like, yo, who made the beats? And I was like, yo, I made all these. He's like, yo, keep my contact, bro. Like, you got something special. You know what I'm saying? So that was really like the turning point for me to really like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. Like the next 20 years of my life, whenever I decide to stop, like this is what it's gonna be for me. And at that time, the two biggest like producer influences for me were Chasing Cash and Hit Boy.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the Surf Club, but
they're all dope. G-Rye and everybody.
Yeah, G-Rye, You know what I'm saying? B Car, Chili Chill, like Stacy Bar, even the early Frank Ocean stuff like that. I'm a product of them. You know, like they're like without them, like we wouldn't even be having this conversation for real. So I'm literally a direct reflection of that whole internet era, and they were my two favorite producers. So I was locked in, and after that, really the dude from Atlanta, him telling me that, it really just kind of confirmed, like, all right, like I might be at the level to where I can take it to the next step. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's really how everything kind of started for me. Just working with Chaz, and then things just kind of like snowballed into other things. But yeah, that's really how I got my start. I started in 2010, and been trying to go hard ever since.
So you're on like the 10-year journey, pretty much. In all honesty.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know.
No,
I didn't know the majority of the story or anything. I've heard of Chaz and everything, and I've heard some of his songs and everything. So I didn't know like you were that involved with like the beginning of his journey too. So,
man, like me and Chaz, like, bro, we used to just be at my house. You know what I'm saying? Like eating ramen noodles. You know, he from DC, and he would be like, "Yo, you gotta put like syrup in your noodles and shit." Like we would just be at the house, bro, and we was just vibing out, and we was just having so much fun. Like me, Chris, and Chaz, and his brother KK, Eddie Vance is another amazing artist. Like we was just be in my room, bro, and we was just making the hardest shit just in my room. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom be telling me even to this day, cause she seen all the things we done. She was like, "Man, y'all used to keep me up. Well, y'all used to be in your room just banging loud, but it sounded good though." She used to always say that, like, "Yo, y'all shit sounded good." But yeah, bro, we was just in my room, just thugging, just making the hardest beats, like the hardest songs. And what I ended up learning later on, that we was actually making songs. Like even how I produce to this day, it's really similar to how it was back then, because what Chaz allowed me to do was he was just like, "Yo, like you just do you, and we just gonna figure it out. We just gonna make it work." So him being that type of artist, like he was always, you know what I'm saying, like abstract with it. He didn't want to just do a verse, hook. You know what I'm saying? Like we was all wanted to be like doing like Kanye level shit. Like we all wanted to do, you know what I'm saying, that level of stuff. So we would do songs with like 4 bars, and then we just do like orchestra arrangements on it. Like me and Chris, like we would just do ideas like that. You know what I'm saying? I still produce like that to this day. But just being around Chaz and Chris, bro, like it was really everything for me.
And that's good too, like how you guys all came up together and you're kind of just like having fun with it, just getting creative with it too, like.
Yeah, bro. I feel like that's really like the essence. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when you just having fun, like you make the best stuff. Like you think, like when you think about too much of the business, like where's this gonna land, like what's this gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of dilutes it. But even like I said, even to this day, when me, Chaz, and Chris, like we link up, it's just like, yo, we back in my room, you know what I'm saying? We can be in $1 million studio, but we back in the dungeon, like, you know what I'm saying, where the shit all started.
It's like the same energy, pretty much.
Bro, it'll never die, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's what it's all
people
about.
always ask me, like, I don't want to cut you off, but people always ask me, like, who's my favorite artist to work with? And I always say Chaz French, like, that's my brother to the end. We can make 20 songs in a day, you know what I'm saying? Just all new songs, like all beats from scratch, like that. We just got that energy, bro. So that's my bro forever.
Yeah, and you got the chemistry too, just because you've been working for so long. Like it's probably just easy to like, he knows what you want, and you kind of know what he wants, and you just go. You know what
exactly,
I mean?
Bro. So, like yeah, it's a blessing for sure. Because I know a lot of people don't really have that.
Yeah, it's very important to have too, especially when you're starting out. Is just have like the people around you, if you have friends or someone that you can work with, and kind of just figure things out together. So that's good to hear.
Man,
you had
that's
that.
it, bro. Like that's low-key the cheat code.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like even when like you meet people later in your career, if y'all had that energy and y'all had that vibe, like yo, let's just come up with some shit. If y'all have that childlike mentality, I feel like that's the best. Like always, I'm always searching for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, it's so easy. I get it with Chaz, it's my brother, but like, that's the thing that keeps me ticking. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just meet somebody, like you meet an artist, and they're like, yo, like I want to hear what you want, and like you play on some shit and like, oh, all right, bet, like, yo, let's see what we can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's let our imagination like run kind of wild. And I feel like just doing the business part of it, you don't really get that as much. So each time I get it, like I hold it close. You know what I'm saying? Like all the people I've worked with, like it's all been like super cool. And like I'm blessed because I know a lot of people have like a lot of horror stories, but I don't really have any horror stories. You know what I'm saying? I'm always thankful for everything.
And having the relationships too, like the good relationship from the beginning, that's like how the good music comes to begin with. Like it's not going to come if there's a bad relationship anyway, so you know what I mean?
Man, that, like, I feel like chemistry probably the most underrated part sonically. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish it's certain things I hear and I'm like, man, this person would be so dope with this person. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the business side of it, it dilutes so much of that. You know what I'm saying? It's people that I would love for them to just work together. You know what I'm saying? Like my whole thing is I just want the people who I feel like will work together. It's not always about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love K-Camp to work with Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Like, melody-wise, I think they match up amazing. I would love for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, that's, anytime I'm getting into an in-deep conversation about it, I always, like, chemistry is one of the most important things to me. Because it's just like, yo, how do you hear this and not think that will work? But y'all talking about contract disputes and this person don't like this person. It's like, man, like, fuck all that, bro. Like, the people deserve the songs, bro. Like, we ain't, like, at the end of the day, if you're able to get paid off what you do, you're in a privileged position anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, a lot of people, too, like, think about all the people doing work for free still, you know what I mean? And even people that have big records and they're still getting kind of, like, the shaft as far as, like, what they deserve at the end of it.
Yeah, bro.
So, yeah.
So it's just crazy, bro. Like, I think of collabs all day, and it's like half the time it ain't even me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I just feel like, man, they would be so good together. I think the songs would be so fire. People would love these songs, you know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, though, to have that vision, too, like, and you never know, like, one day maybe some of those things would happen, so.
Yeah, bro.
Anything could happen. But.
One of the things that ended up happening for me was, and this is kind of like this was like a big turning point for me. So Chaz had ended up moving back to DC. So, and it ended up working out for both of us because this is what led him to ink a major deal. But Chaz moved back to DC, and I was kind of like, damn, this is like the band's breaking up in a sense. But I always had the attitude that I was just gonna figure out whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, especially like my confidence was at a certain point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like I could work with pretty much anybody. You know what I'm saying? Especially locally. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that we had done locally, I was just meeting up with like random artists and stuff. I was like getting put in studios with these people, and they were all talking highly of me. So my confidence musically was at a certain point to where I was just like, okay, I'll be okay. So really, what even the name Supermiles comes from is I just had a Twitter account. Like, that was just my Twitter account. And the reason I'm even bringing this up is, like I said, I was always into like computers and all video games. So Twitter, like, using, of course, into MySpace and all that. But I was always just into this kind of thing. So I started using my Twitter to really, like, that was my #1 networking tool, like, early on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember even before I was producing, I used to watch artists like Currency and Wiz when they would be on Ustream. You know what I'm saying? And I just thought that was just like the coolest shit. Like, this was back in like 08, 09. Like, that whole sneakerhead era with Wale and, you know what I'm saying? Like, that whole era with all these artists. Like, you had like Fashawn, you had like Donis. Like, people might not even know who these people are. But to me, these were like the coolest guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole mixtape era. That's really the whole streetwear, the skateboarding, like, when it really clashed. Like, this is what really got my taste to where it's at today. So I was using Twitter as my like major networking tool. And of course, my favorite artist of all time is Kanye West. So I started like doing my research on all these albums. I was always a kid that like wanted to read the albums, the artwork, like always that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother. Another big influence. He put me on to everything. You know what I'm saying? As far as like being into Dipset, like listening to like Violator and shit. Like that was like my first hip hop album to ever listen to, like Violator. And I'm hearing Nori and all these explicit ass lyrics as like a kid. Like, oh shit, like this is what hip hop is. You know what I'm saying? Like he put me on to this whole thing. So I always knew to like pay attention to the detail. There's a bunch of people that are in the background that actually make these things happen. So, of course, being a Kanye fan, I dove into everybody. Like, I wanted to know everybody who was around him. I wanted to know who Don C was. I wanted to know who Farnsworth was. I wanted to know who Consequence was. You know what I'm saying? All these people. So, I found this A&R by the name of J.R. McKee. Shout out to him, because he really gave me my first start, like, officially. So, I found him on Twitter, and what I used to do, because I actually used to have SoundClick. I don't know if anybody remembers SoundClick.
Yeah. I still got one of those.
Yeah, let them know, bro. That's the OG shit. Like, you was selling beats, you had you a fly SoundClick, and if you had a fly page, you was selling all the beats. You know what I'm saying? So, one of the reasons why I stay thankful and stay blessed is because I used to have a basic SoundClick. You know what I'm saying? Like just a regular joint that you just pay $10 a month for, and you get the player. I didn't have no cool design, and I ended up meeting my homie Hyro the Great. You know what I'm saying? Like we ended up going our separate ways. Shout out to him because he was a web designer. So he designed my page. You know what I'm saying? Like he gave me like the Jolly Giuliano type page. You know what I'm saying? He did it out of love. And he was like, here, bro, like, go crazy with it. So I had got my SoundClick popping. I was selling hella beats. Like, I was making like $500 a week. So another thing back to my parents, once they saw me doing that, they left me alone. Like, they didn't say nothing. They was like, yo, you doing your thing? Like, we gonna leave you alone. You know what I'm saying? So that, like, my parents giving me that space, like, it gave me more confidence. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I was doing the SoundClick thing for a bit, so I wanted to start like getting more tracks. So I used to search on Twitter, like send beats. That would be my search. You know, I used to notice like managers and promoters be like send beats for whoever, send beats for Lil Durk, like send beats. So I found this dude named J.R. McKee, and he gave me my start. And he had send beats for Side High to Prince, and I seen that, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna get a Kanye record tomorrow. Like that was my mindset. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I sent him beats, and he hit me back immediately. He's like, yo, you're crazy. He's like, yo, keep sending me stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he asked me to send him stuff for like 2 weeks straight. He wanted to make sure it wasn't a fluke. So he's like, hey, bro, like, I'm gonna sign you, like, right now type shit. So this is my first time, like, getting a contract. I didn't know what to do. So I told my mom, and we had like a family friend who had like an attorney, and he looked at it. He said, "Yo, it's pretty normal." So I was like, "All right, I'm signing it anyway. I don't give a fuck. Like, I got a contract. Like, I'm here." You know what I'm saying? I signed it, and he's like, "Yo, come out to Atlanta." So I'm 19 years old. I get to Atlanta. They pick me up. They in the fly ass Charger at the time. Like, they pick me up. They're like, hey, bro, like, we going to this Jeezy thing. Like, this was the TM 103. This is when he had Freddie Gibbs with him at the time. Jeezy did.
So what year is this? Like 2010, probably?
This is 2012.
2012? Okay.
2012 or 13. I can't really remember, but 2012 or 13. And get to Atlanta my first night. They're like, yeah, we going to the Jeezy premiere. I'm like, oh shit, and Jeezy is another one of my favorite rappers ever. You know what I'm saying? He probably has one of my favorite albums ever, you know what I'm saying, with The Recession. Like, I still listen to that to this day. So I'm like, oh shit, man, we going to Jeezy. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, man, just get fly. We about to go right now. So I dropped my bags off. Mind you, I ain't never really done none of this music shit. You know what I'm saying? So I get to the crib, man. They got me staying in some 3-story loft, bro. Like, I'm like, yo, this music shit crazy already, bro. This is like my first taste of this shit, right? And like, yeah, they're like, yo, this is your room. So I had like my own floor. You know what I'm saying? I had the same floor as the kitchen. So my floor was funny. My floor ended up turning out to be like a hangout spot. And that ended up being one of the best things that ever happened for me. Because everybody who was going through there, like, we was all hang out on my floor and shit. So we go to the Jeezy thing. And mind you, this is 2012-13. So all the people I'm about to mention are stars now, but they was bubbling at the time. So this was the same time 2 Chainz had that A-Town We Got One. That True Religion mixtape was going crazy, bro. That was what everybody was listening to. So we get there, I get to meet 2 Chainz. I get to meet Sunny Digital. I get to meet Fat Polo the Don. This is Polo the Don, still fat, you know what I'm saying? I got to meet Kevin Lyles was there. I got to meet Mike Will. I got to meet Metro was there. Like, I got to meet a whole bunch of these people and stuff. So seeing that, like, it took me to a whole nother level. I'm like, damn, this is my first night here, and this is what it's like. And in Atlanta, like, being in Atlanta, like, it really taught me, like, yo, like, if you able to get in these rooms and get in these situations, man, like, just accept it. Like, you're not there for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So that, like I said, it took me to another level. And two of the artists, an artist by the name of DeMar Jackson and K-Camp was actually staying at the house. So these are my first 2 artists outside of Chaz that I'm really sitting down and get to work with. So, like, man, super shout out to them, because I just been so used to working with Chaz. Starting with them was like, I'm starting over. I'm starting from ground zero. You know what I'm saying? But they were patient with me. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them forever. Another producer that was there was Big Fruit. He's actually the one who told JR he needed to sign me. And Big Fruit, I don't know if people know, but he does all K-Camp shit. Like, he did Comfortable, he did Money Baby. You know what I'm saying? What's crazy is I was there hearing these records. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy that they went dumb. But they was good records back then, so I'm glad people received them like that. But yeah, man, shout out to Big Fruit. Like, one of my favorite producers ever, one of the coolest dudes ever. He really looked out for me, because he noticed the stuff I was doing in Atlanta. It wasn't what people in Atlanta would used to go for. Like, people know me. Like, out of every 100 beats I make, I probably make like 1 good trap beat. You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, yeah, bro, like, you got the shit. Like, you just got to keep doing you. You know what I'm saying? It's whoever rock with it is going to rock with it. So shout out to Big Fruit, because he was in the position to where he didn't have to tell me something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just a solid enough dude. And he just, I guess he sensed that I was like, man, I want to contribute so much more than I'm contributing. But he's like, bro, like, if they don't rock with it, it's fine. Like, eventually things going to turn up for you. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Big Fruit, man. Like, he did a lot for me in Atlanta. Like, K-Camp, DeMar Jackson, like, forever, like, in my favorite artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never be able to talk down on them. And, like, just the whole period of time, like, really, like, I felt like I was a professional, like, producer now. Like, I've been in these rooms, I've been in these sessions. I was learning enough about, like, writers and stuff, like, learning enough about, like, collaborations. Like, it really like opened my mind to, like, all these different layers of, like, the music business that I didn't really know about before. But yeah, man, shout out to Big Fruit. Like, he don't get enough credit. He one of my favorite producers ever, bro. Like, Big Fruit from Mississippi. I don't know if anybody knows the Joker, but I used to love the Joker, bro. Like, the Joker he had like the freestyle videos. So shout out to everybody in Mississippi, man. And shout out to Big Fruit for sure, because he did a lot for me.
Well, man, I that's freaking, that whole story, man, was freaking wild. And, like, I know I've heard about Atlanta just the city in general and like the work ethic compared to like other cities. I've heard that it's just like it's on another level. You know what I mean? Like they just fucking make songs that are just like bangers and hits just out of nothing, pretty much, and just everyone there is just so dope. So that's crazy to hear that you kind of were there like toward the beginning of right when that was all about to blow up. Because I know like 2012, 2013 is when like Metro did like the Karate Chop remix and everything, and then that blew up. And then the Migos came, and then like all these people started coming out of Atlanta, like Future and everyone. So you were kind of there like right at the beginning of all that too.
Man, it was a crazy time, bro, because that was really when, like I said, I come from the blog era. So Two Dope Boys, Hot Snobiety, Not Right, all these blogs, man, they meant so much at the time. So I come from that and seeing all these people, and I'm seeing all these people in Atlanta. I'm like, man, like Atlanta's really the shit right now. Like, and I'm seeing this like in front of my face, and it's just crazy, like where the game is now. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole blog era is pretty much done. You know what I'm saying? But that was, and I hate to even speak like this, but that was like, man, that was like the golden period, because you had Drake was emerging. You know what I'm saying? Like you had everybody who we pretty much listen to now, outside of a couple of people, and they was born out of that era. Like you had crazy collabs. Like I remember when that Drake and Nipsey Hussle record dropped, that Killer joint, and he dropped that on his blog. I was like, bro, like this shit is crazy. And if you think about it, like we might have never ever heard two artists to where like they ended up being stars, but you heard like they songs when they was just like bubbling and they was still on the cusp. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole period of time was just so crazy, bro. Like even like it just sucks that blogs aren't really what they used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more so like Instagram and stuff like that. But man, on them blogs, man, it was just everything, bro.
I saw probably like a couple weeks ago, I know they just put out the XXL freshman for this year, and I saw some people bringing up probably like 09, 10, and 11 XXL, and they were talking about the amount of people that just came out of like that. And now you look at them now, and it's like the biggest people that we've ever seen.
Bro,
it was like Wiz, Big Sean, J-Rock, Kendrick, Wale, Kid Cudi, Drake, like literally the A-list and like almost A-list artists and rappers. And like I don't think at the time like anyone really thought of it like that, but now it's like.
But because you know what's really crazy, bro? Because the freshman, and I felt like this is like the freshman list. It was major, but bro, there was so many blogs to where you look to, like you go on Smash, and it's like, yo, he got a store on Smash. It's like, yeah, the freshman list was it. Of course, you had the biggest 10 or whatever, but bro, there was so many artists at that time that people loved. You know what I'm saying? Like at that specific time, like the freshman list was definitely it. But it was like, yo, it was honestly like 20 to 25 artists that people was really listening to and like rooting for to like become huge stars at that time, bro. It was crazy.
It's just weird with like how the internet moved. Like I don't think we thought about it at that time, because I remember I was in like middle school in like 09, 10. That's when I started like getting into hip hop, was around that time. So like Wale came out, Drake came out, like I said, Cudi, all those people, all the people that I still listen to this day. I didn't think anything of it. But then like you fast forward to now, and just the way like we discover artists is totally different. Like you got streaming, you got all this other stuff that we probably would have never thought of back then. But it's just interesting to see how it changed. But it's also interesting just with your story to see how you came from like, you've seen both sides of the coin, in all honesty, and you're kind of like,
yeah, bro,
you're living through literally like the change, and like you'll continue to live through that whatever comes next, honestly.
Yeah,
so,
bro, it's really strange, bro, because like at times I feel like I don't understand a lot of the things that come out now. You know what I'm saying? Just because my roots are so, like I said, I feel like what I was able to witness, I had like the perfect pot of gumbo. You know what I'm saying? Like from being, man, I remember one time we was trying to find, my favorite album ever is Common Beat album.
Love that.
Man, me and my brother, man, it's one of the best albums ever, bro. Like beats, like concepts.
You got Kanye, you got Kanye and Dilla on production. I don't know how you lose with that.
You can't ever lose, bro. bro. It's like one of the best produced albums ever, bro. Bro, me and my brother, we went searching for that album. It was sold out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of time, bro. Like, that's the shit that they gave me my fire, bro. It's like, man, we wanted this album so bad, man. We went into, they don't have the store anymore, but Suncoast at the mall. Suncoast was like where you got all the movies and posters and all the CDs and shit. Man, we went to Suncoast, sold out. And the dude was talking to my brother like, man, y'all looking for that comment too. Man, I've been everywhere trying to find it. And it's just like that aspect of, man, we really wanted the music. Like, the music meant so much to us. It meant more than just a click. Like, like I said, I was raised on the reading of the artwork in the booklet. You know what I'm saying? So my appreciation might be different from somebody nowadays who just finds it and streams it. But it's just like, man, we really, man, when mixtapes would leak, we be on them forums and message boards trying to get this new mixtape, bro. Like, and then you will burn it to a CD and you ride around with it, dog. Like, when one of the homies got a car, like, this is what all we was listening to. Like, that's the cloth that I'm cut from, bro. And a lot of times, like, things that come out now and it just doesn't connect with me, just because, like, my roots are just so different. And I just remember them times when, man, like, if you got your hands on that CD, you felt like you got something for your life. Like, you felt you got something that was really meaning something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want to say that it's watered down. Like, that's probably, like, a bad word to use. But it's just so different that you can just click play on the album when it come out at 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so different. The appreciation can't be there, and not even anybody's fault. It's just with the advancement of technology and stuff. But man, I remember them days when you open up that booklet and you get to see everything. You didn't even really know what you was reading. Like, I remember them days, like, vividly. And that's something that I miss, dude.
It's getting to the point now where, like, CDs are not even, like, we can't even, like, Best Buy stopped selling them, and, like, all these places stopped selling them and everything. And I'm with you there. Like, I still love to go and, like, buy the album and, like, look through the art and everything. Because it's just something about, like, the feeling and, like, you're looking at it, like, with your own eyes, not through a screen, you know what I mean? And the credits thing, like, I feel like credits are even becoming, like, way different how that goes. Because, like, sometimes songs will come out and things, and they won't have, like, direct credits all the time attached to them. You might have to go to social media and be like, oh, who produced this or who engineered this? And, like, sometimes I can't even figure out for, like, 3 months who made, like, certain records.
Exactly, bro.
It kind of sucks because, like, I want to, like, know, like, who made this beat that I like, or I want to know, like, who mixed this song and shit. So, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever get, like, a system that goes with, like, the streaming era that will work efficiently, because there's so many moving parts to it, but...
Yeah, what you just said, bro, I think that's why it'll probably never be like that. It's just so many moving parts. It's that what you getting is, and like I said, like, I feel like most music to people these days is just a click. You know what I'm saying? Like, social media has transformed in such a way that people are receiving it so differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, people always ask me, like, people ask me about working with Wale. You know what I'm saying? Like, people might see him on Twitter and feel like, man, he's washed, or like he's always sour. But it's like, yo, what my first introduction to him was on a Nike Talk forum when he was talking about sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wale is one of my favorite artists ever. Like, I can't, how y'all are receiving him, it's just like, bro, what I've seen, bro, it's just like, from that era, it's just like, yo, Wale is one of my favorite artists ever. I don't care what nobody says about him now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I always tell people, it's just like, yo, how y'all are seeing him and how I see him is completely different, man. Like, y'all see tweets and y'all see this and that, but it's just like, yo, I remember, bro, like, I remember vividly when he became one of my favorite artists. And it's just like, yo, I mean, when he first got signed, he had, like, that Lady Gaga record. I'm like, man, Wale about to take off, bro. And me and Chaz, bro, like, we used to sit in class and talk about this nigga Wale, bro. Like, we used to be like, man, like, yo, just to work with Wale would be so crazy. And then, like, fast forward years later, we ended up doing it. But, yeah, bro, like, it's social media has changed people's views on music and these artists, everybody involved, and I don't know, it's a lot of times it's coming from a real nasty place just because that's what social media has turned into. But I always try to look at artists from like a pure place because, like I said, like most of the artists that I came up on, I still listen to, and I thank God that they're actually still here. You know what I'm saying? And still doing their thing. So I always try to come at it like from like a pure place and just like really appreciate, you know what I'm saying, what they're doing because it's different for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's good too, like, to just view it from beyond just looking at it through social media and through a screen. Like, we gotta remember these are people as well. You know what I mean? Like, you really don't know until you're there. Like, I always try to think about that too. Like, when I see someone did something crazy or something, I'm like, well, you know, we might not see the full side of this story. Like, we really don't know unless we're there seeing it with our own eyes. So I think it's always important to remember that too. That's just with anything. But like you said, it's just like people are gonna find the negatives of everything and just kind of, you know, gravitate toward that for whatever reason. But
yeah, bro, shit's really insane. Like, yo, I want to shout out Sci the Prince too, by the way, because like I don't know how much time we got, but like I said, this shit means so much to me because all the things that have unfolded, it's like, you know what I'm saying, like the creators just placed this shit in my hands for me to run with it. But when I first got to Atlanta, like I said, my homie JR, he signed me and stuff off of wanting to produce for Sci the Prince, and he would play Sci tracks all the time, bro. And like I remember one time, it might have been like 2014, Sci just had texted me. It's like, yo, we need files for these beats. You know what I'm saying? So it was just crazy that that he actually liked the stuff I was doing. And then even fast forward to like 2019, bro, we in Los Angeles, California, where I live at, and I still have the same mindset. Like, man, I got an email to Sai. I haven't really spoke to him since then, and I was just flaming up his email, bro. And one day he just hit me back. He said, "Hey, bro, come to the house." So I go to this motherfucker's house. He in Beverly Hills and shit, living good, man. I get in there. He's like, "Bro, I remember you from Atlanta, and I remember you used to send me shit all the time, bro." He's like, "I'm so glad you're here." And I was like, "Bro, like you just made my life," because it's really just when you're doing these things, you know what I'm saying? Like, I listen to my gut a lot, and a lot of times, like, I'm like, I know this is right. Like, if it doesn't happen, like, I just gotta keep going, and I just gotta figure out a way to make it happen. And he told me that, and it confirmed everything I was thinking. He was like, "I'm so glad you're here, bro. We gotta make all these songs. Like, we gotta make these songs for Kanye. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do all these things." And he's blowing my mind, bro. And this is my first time actually meeting him, like, face to face. He's like, "Bro, I remember you from ATL, dog. Like, I never forgot your name, bro. I remember Super Miles from ATL, dog." And he told me that, and he played me a bunch of Kanye shit. You know what I'm saying? He probably gonna get mad that I'm even saying this, but he played me a bunch of Kanye shit, bro. And he was just like, "Yo, we gotta finish all these albums. Like, we gotta do all this shit, bro." And I took that, and I just kept fucking working with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a bunch of shit coming, of course, but just I was able to do that, and I was just allowing my gut to, like, lead me and to do the things that felt right. It ended up actually paying off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can say that about most of the situations that I've been in. Like, it's just led me to all these good things. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why, like, I'm so appreciative of everything. Like, even when somebody tells me no, like, I just feel like, man, you telling me no, but you don't know, bro, that I'm going to find a way to this person. Like, you don't know this, but I'm telling you right now, you telling me no, but if I find a way to that artist, bro, he ain't gonna tell me no, because I have thought about this for years and years and years.
You got that persistence,
bro. I feel like that's half the battle, bro. Yeah. Just like, man, like, this is another thing I do, bro. Like, I wrote down a list of all these people I wanted to work with and all these things I do. I wake up and I read that list every single day. Like, I just read it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I talk about it. A lot of times I'm talking to myself about these things just so I can hold myself accountable for doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, back in my apartment in Dallas before I moved to LA, I had like a whiteboard, like a big ass whiteboard, and I would just write down people I wanted to work with. Man, I worked with fucking 75% of those people on that board. You know what I'm saying? Just because I looked at it every day, bro. I looked at it every single day. You know, I talked about it every day. I looked at my notes every day, and I was like, yo, I gotta find a way to this person. I gotta find a way to this person. I gotta talk to this manager. I gotta talk to this person's nanny. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was going to those depths, bro. Like, if I feel like it's gonna work and I need to do it, dog, I'm going to find a way, bro. Like, it's just gonna take time, but that's been my attitude 100%, bro. Just the persistence and wanting to see it through. Like, I gotta see it through. Like I said, a million people have told me no. A million people have told me about their personal interactions with them. I'm like, man, he interacted like that with y'all, but he don't know me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
totally
he ain't
different.
gonna do me like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna do me like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the one. I've been giving all this shit. I'm gonna show this motherfucker like what I've been trying to complete as far as my goals go. So, yeah, bro, it's just that persistence, dog. Like, I won't let up.
Well, that's awesome to hear, because like that's really the attitude you need too, especially in like just dealing with industry stuff. I feel like, you know, you're gonna get no's probably more than you're gonna get yeses a lot of the time.
Facts.
So like you just gotta figure out like what you can do to push through that. And you know, I think a lot of people think like it's the end of the world if they get a no, especially from like someone they look up to. They're like, oh man, like they shot me down, blah 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 blah. Like, you just gotta work harder is all that really means.
That's
It's
it,
like, you just
bro.
gotta go back
Like,
and just figure things
It's
out
simple, bro.
and just come back to it at the right time. But
You know what I'm saying? So, I just feel like for most people, and people that ask me, like, just advice, I'm like, bro, if you got a plan, man, you got to see it through to the end, bro. Like, you got to see that idea through till it's dry to the bone. Because there's been plenty of situations. Most of my records I even got come from me just plugging away and actually finding the person who believes in what I was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know there's a lot of static around Tory Lanez name. You know what I'm saying? Like, but even me working with him, bro, was like one of the craziest things. Cause I used to tweet about this. I used to be like, man, put me in the studio with Tory Lanez. I'm gonna change his life musically. Put me in the studio with Tory Lanez. Like, I wish I had Tory Lanez email. I used to tweet this shit all the time, bro. And then I found somebody who believed in what I was trying to do and what I wanted to deliver to him. And then, what do you know, it ended up happening. You know what I'm saying? And the beat he ended up using and putting out, man, I sent that beat for him 30 different times, bro, from different people. And they all told me it was just like, yeah, these are cool, but it's whatever. But I found the one person who believed in me, my homie Uno. Shout out to Uno. Uno Season on Twitter. But shout out to him, and he was like, yo, this is perfect, man. He played on that joint, and he ended up doing it. So, yeah, bro, it's just like the persistence, dog. Like, that's what it is for me. I know for some people have different situations and everything, but for me, the persistence, like, I gotta see it through. If Tory Lanez told me no, or Kanye tell me no, that's cool. I can live with that. But I can't have no middleman telling me no. I can't have no manager telling me no. It's like, it's gotta be some kind of creative brotherhood and sisterhood to where we tell each other what we like about it. Not the people dealing with our business and not the people doing this and that. Like, I got to hear it from the source. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, maybe I might be stubborn, but you know what I'm saying, it is what it is, bro, and I'm gonna keep on doing it like that.
well, speaking of advice, I only got a few more things here. You've pretty much covered like you've been covering hey man, you've been covering my questions before I'm even asking them. So I appreciate
bro,
it.
No, I'm just thankful, bro. Man, that's all it is.
This story is incredible, so I really appreciate you sharing all
No,
this with
thank
us.
you, bro.
But speaking of advice, if you could go back 10 years ago, so let's say, because we said you started around 10 years ago, is there anything that you would like tell yourself that you would do differently, or have you just been kind of proud of everything you've done so far?
Not at all, because it's like I wouldn't change nothing. Like, everything that I had to go through and figure out ended up working out just because I was like, I would always think about the situations, like if something bad happened or whatever, like I got no advice except you got to see it through. Like that's it. Like even when I started, like I always had a plan on what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So if there is any advice I would give, it's just to be like, you gotta have your plan and you gotta have your intentions set right. And I have my plan to a T. Like a lot of people might not even do this, but I have everything down to the exact amount, to the amount of money, to the like where, who, you know what I'm saying? Like the type of song. Like I have it in detail. Like I don't need no mishaps. I don't need nothing. Like you know what I'm saying? Like everything I said. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to happen. Like and it might have happened differently, but everything I wanted to write down and put down, man, I had it down to a T, bro. Like I wrote it as detailed as I could. I wanted to get it to its simplest form. So whatever powers are working it may be, and whatever energy or whatever I'm putting out there, it redirects me to exactly what I'm asking for. So if there was any advice I would have just gave myself, I would say be even more precise, even be even more detailed about the things that I wanted. You know what I'm saying?
So 10 years from now, where do you think you want to be as far as music or just life, really?
Man, honestly, I feel like I've got a pretty good like I've done a lot of the things I want to, and I always joke to people, like people in my close circle, how I want to retire, because that me making music, you know what I'm saying, I always love making beats, but there's so many things that I like that are the equivalent of making beats. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the things that I'm super into is cinematography. So that's gonna be my next thing that I dive into. Even if it doesn't work out, it's just something that's always interested me. You know what I'm saying? So my next 10 years, like I have a couple more goals that I want to complete musically, but I probably won't be doing the industry rules, quote unquote, you know what I'm saying? Like I won't be doing the things. I'm only gonna do passion projects, the things that make me tick, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be making a beat or maybe it be like linking people up together, you know what I'm saying? Or just finding something new to spark it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, 10 years I probably won't be doing replacement hunting and trying to get all these people down. I'll be more established in my situation to where I can just only do things that really excite me and really like want me to go broke for like just trying to achieve the goal. You know what I'm saying?
It's good to have other endeavors too, other than just music. Like if it makes you happy, just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of people just think they got to do like music forever, or like do this forever.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do that forever if you really don't want to. So
yeah,
that's good to
like
hear.
for me, bro, it was always about like creativity. You know what I'm saying? Like I always liked the creativity. That was one of the things that like drew me about skateboarding. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has their own style and tricks they like to do. So it's just crazy that for me that skateboarding tied into hip hop so well, and then that video games and technology tied into beat making so well. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things added up for me that I would end up liking them. And that's what even led me into being into cinematography, because I'll watch a movie and I'll be like, man, how does this look like this? Like, what do I gotta do to, if I ever wanted to make a video for myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that I like about the things that I'm seeing? You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy, like how all these things tied in to the things that I enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I'm fortunate enough to like be able to explore those things.
Do you have any final words of wisdom today, Miles?
Oh man, my final words is like, yo, whoever's trying to do whatever they want to do, like you really just gotta do it. There's no one size fits all for any plan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you really just, if you really want to do it, like at the end of the day, you gotta push as hard as you can. You gotta listen to the no's. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, learn to appreciate the yeses. But man, like you just gotta see it through. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even if it doesn't happen, you didn't do it on nobody else's terms. Like you went out on your own guard, and I think that's what everybody should do.
Well, Miles, that's all I have for you, man. Like I said, I appreciate the stories because we've never done an episode like that. Usually I just have the scripted stuff, but that was way better than the scripted stuff because, like, that's the raw,
thank you, bro.
that's the raw, like, real story that I think everyone would want to hear from you. So, like, I can tell you're really, like, detailed and you really care about your journey and, like, you really care about your music, too. So I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate you bringing that story to this show. And I look forward to seeing what you have in the works coming up and everything. And I wish you luck in all your endeavors moving forward, man.
Nah, thank you, man. I appreciate your time, bro.
Thank you guys for listening today. That was episode 21 of the Creator Series. We'll see you this time next week. As always, hit that support button on your podcast streaming platform if you want to, send some funds our way. They all go to future episodes and making the show better. So, like I said, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.